Peace and love, everybody out there. This is Whyse of the Sixth Element, where hip hop and sociology collides. And if you have not noticed, this month is Women's History Month, and also on March 8th, it was International Women's Day. So I believe that it's only fitting, it's only right that I invite a very empowered and strong woman as a guest, so we can build with her on what she has going on, for this month. And I want to introduce her properly before I even mention her name, okay? So this strong and empowered woman is a creative artist, graphic designer, poet, and entrepreneur. She is a CEO and founder of a design company that goes by MeliMel Digital Art Design, and is a co-partner of Melly Smacks LLC with her husband, which is beautiful, a company dedicated to the arts and event production, and is currently known for a successful concert series, Smacks Music Live and Smacks Music Live with Friends, and also a co-producer of Soul Bliss events, which went down in New York and Massachusetts, and I was in attendance for that. Dope. So also the strong and empowered woman has a book, Beneath the Deep Surface, which is a poetry book, and it was released in 2006. And this week, I'll go down the list too. So many other things that she has going on, and I'm sure that she can explain it better than me. This week though, she has a very dope event that I want to let everyone know about as well. The 5th annual event as well. So, all right, introducing. I'm not gonna say anything else. Introducing MeliMel. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How is everyone?
I'm doing amazing. Hey, it's only me.
Yeah. Well, you are everyone, Kenzie. So
Stop. You're making me blush now.
Before we get down for the 6th element.
Yes, the 6th element where hip hop and sociology collides. And I am thankful to have you as a guest today. Thank you for taking some time out of your 24 hours just so you can have a sit down and conversation with me. And I'm honored.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, MeliMel, let the people know, what do you have going on this Saturday?
Oh, man. So this Saturday is the 5th annual Women Empowerment event. This event has been going on for 5 years now. It is like my first child. I put it together every year because I love bringing together strong, empowered women to share their story, share their trials and tribulations. These women come from all sorts of walks of life, so they have a lot to bring to the table and share with the guests. And the event is just meant to be a very strong, empowering, and opportunity to network with amazing people every year during Women's History Month.
Wow, that's very powerful, impactful, and it makes me wonder, what was your inspiration behind throwing this event for the first time? Like, what was that spark, that idea that got this idea rolling?
Oh, definitely. So I actually have always been interested in women's issues and women's rights because, my personal experience as a woman, I definitely growing up have felt the different kind of barriers and adversities that I faced as a young girl and growing up into a woman and, eventually becoming an adult and a wife and now a mother. So empowerment has always been something that's always been part of my life. And I had this idea when I actually started my business because as an entrepreneur and, a woman of color and trying to do something that's, kind of against the grain, I felt that I couldn't be the only one, you know what I mean? So I wanted to get to know other women who were going through the same experiences that I was going through in terms of starting a business and trying to build a brand and things like that. And I was very inspired by other women who, while I was networking, who were moms as well. They were wives or they were single parents and they were building businesses and building brands. And I was very much inspired and it motivated me to keep going in my direction of what I wanted to build and bring into the world. And so through networking and meeting other women, I was like, wow, I really love just knowing about different people and what they have going on. And I said, if I got so much out of just meeting someone based on, their story and their background and what they've built and what they've done, I said, imagine if I could bring all these people together in one room.
Wow.
Like face to face. Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about how we can, as women, empower each other and support each other. Because, the kind of the stereotype of women is that we don't get along, we don't work well together, we're always fighting against each other, and everything between us is always competition. And so I kind of wanted to break those stereotypes and bring all these super powerful but also super accessible women in a panel event that's also meant to be a networking event, and have it be like a meeting of the mind, where we're talking about empowering issues, but we're also talking about things that affect us as women in relationships to our work, our home, our business. But also have it be accessible where it's not just for women. So I highly encourage you to come and participate. Men are also very welcome to be part of this conversation. So it's all encompassing. And but it took me a while. Like, I had this idea for a really long time, and then finally in 2012, I said, you know what, I need to listen to my gut and just go for it. So in 2012 is when I actually made the actual action of putting this event together. And the first annual event took place in March of 2013. And I remember I was so nervous because, one, it was my first event. I wasn't sure what the response was going to be, if women or the guests felt that this was something that they cared about or needed. So I was super nervous. But then after the event, the overwhelming response was all positive, and everyone was just like, wow, this event changed my life. And so ever since that moment, it was just like an affirmation for me that I have to keep this going. And now we're 5 years later into this, and I'm so excited for this weekend, Saturday, March 18th, for the 5th annual event.
Wow, so that's amazing. Just to start an idea and see it just build the momentum into what it is now. Right. I can imagine being in your shoes, wow, this is the 5th year, my first child, it's growing up into a young, a beautiful young woman,
Exactly. No, it's so true.
Right. So I wanted to actually ask you, what are some maybe some feedback that you received that, kind of drawing you back and make you realize wow, this is something that is really changing people's lives? Because you mentioned that, that some people left the event, with some positive feedback and saying that this changed my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are some experiences that, you can share?
Absolutely. So I've had a couple of women who have attended the event every single year. One of them is actually one of the first annual panelists, and she's this woman that she inspires me immensely. Her name is Shamir Ward. She is a chef and owner of Clean Plate Company, which is the catering company that we actually use every year for our event. They are excellent. The service is always excellent. The food is none to par. It's delicious. Everyone loves her food. But she started out on the first panel, and even in that first panel, she was already established business, and she was getting her feet wet. But she also was to come out of that event and the years following to be part of it every single year. She's actually went from just a small catering business to now she caters large corporate events, weddings. She's actually contracted by the state of New York, so she gets a lot of government contracted work, which is amazing.
That's amazing.
And not just that, but she her brand has a special mac and cheese product that she did the the food fairs and stuff like that. And so this mac and cheese product that she put together was a hit, and she actually pitched it to Whole Foods. And now that product is going to be available at the new Whole Foods in Harlem that's opening up later this year.
That's big.
So that's one example.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you this other example. I mean, there's tons of other examples, but I don't want to. I could write a book literally, and maybe I should.
I think you should. I would definitely get like a couple copies.
Yeah, but I have to share this one other story because I was so moved by it. So last year, I had this woman. She's actually been coming to the event every single year as well. She'll be here at the 5th annual, and her name is Jackie. She has a skincare line, a body care line, and she actually invited her cousin to come to the event. And this was her cousin's first time attending. And, both of them loved the event and everything like that. And the next thing I know, that cousin, the guest that came with her, ever since she came to the Women Empowerment event last year, which was the 4th annual, when she left that event, she was living in Jersey. She moved to Spain because I guess her family is they're from Spain. So she moved to Spain, and she actually opened up a dance studio.
What? Yeah?
Yes. She, from that event, it sparked something in her. This must have been a dream or something that she's been wanting to do forever, and just never had that empowerment to actually turn it from a dream into reality. And ever since that event, she, something just got into her, and she was like, oh my God. She started planning out, how she's going to do this move. She went back to Spain. She found a studio space. She had it, registered. She got it cleaned up. And next thing you know, doors were opening. She has customers that come and take her classes. I mean, we're talking about an event that took place in Harlem, New York, that inspired something so amazing that now the fruit of it is happening right here in Spain. That's just
dope.
Amazing.
That's dope.
So
it's like the remnants of the Harlem Renaissance is still, coming into full fruition today.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wow.
So this is exactly the kind of people that I like to bring together, because there's so many dreams that go unfulfilled. And why? We all have to give ourselves a chance. And so this event is meant to make that gut feeling, is meant to make that gut feeling go from just a feeling to an actual action, where you bring something to the world, whatever that may be.
So speaking of you're bringing people together, and that seems to be the theme, just the meeting of the minds, and everyone leaves empowered and inspired to take on the world and actually leave the world better off than they found it. So
exactly.
For this event, who are the panelists that you have chosen for the discussion, and based on the way you're thinking about this event coming up, how would you like people to take in the information that will be shared so then they can apply it to their own lives?
Absolutely. So this year's panel is actually really special because in the last couple of years on the event, we've had women who, started their own businesses or have something like a special project going on. So this year's panel is a little different in the sense that the panelists I've chosen for this year come from careers that it's every parent's dream, right? So I have the corporate exec, I have the lawyer, and I have the doctor, right? So these are careers that our parents always, wanted all of us to have. And these women actually have these careers, and it's their passion. So I love that aspect. And I think that for a lot of our guests who, not everyone wants to start a business, you know what I mean? So some people just want to excel where they are, and that's totally cool, and that's totally fine. And so this year's panel is meant to be inspirational towards that group. right? That you can, even if it's not your own business, but you can grow within an organization. And it's actually a very interesting time to talk about this because, women still have to deal with the glass ceiling. And I don't know if a lot of people know what the glass ceiling is, but the glass ceiling is essentially a term that means, that for women, there tends to be a barrier that we're not able to cross. And it has to do with advancing in the workplace, getting promotions, equal pay, which is a big one for a lot of women, especially in today's world, because a lot of women contribute to the household. And so you have a lot of women in the workforce. And so for equal pay to be an issue, I think is insane. And we will definitely be talking about that, at this upcoming event. But we're going to touch on these topics, and these women actually, kind of broke those barriers, so to speak. So we have the corporate exec who, her name is Whyse, and she is actually the founder of Proud to be Latina, which is an empowerment platform for Latina women who are in the corporate world. And the reason why she started this platform is because she herself is a Latina, and she has to deal with exactly what I'm talking about, the glass ceiling. And she'll speak to her experience, but she found a way to make it into an exec position as an executive director for a large financial company, which is huge. So she'll be talking on that. Then we have an attorney who has had a legal career for over 20 years. And, she had a very successful run in outside counsel and working for other firms. And in 2014, she actually opened up her own law firm. So she'll be talking about that experience and, how she ended up building her brand with her recent opening of her law firm. And then last but not least, we have Dr. Rhonda Cambridge Phillip, who is a physician. She's also a health coach, and she's an author. And she wrote this book, which is called Bye Bye Cancer. And I know that's a very controversial title for a book, but she's going to share with us very critical information in terms of nutrition and health, which she acquired through her career in medicine. So she'll be speaking on that. And so this year's panel is definitely going to be amazing and empowering, inspiring, and it's going to open up a new kind of inspiration in the sense that for women who want to grow within an organization, there's definitely hope for these women, and we continue to fight these battles every day in the workforce and things like that. So we'll be touching on those topics.
Wow, and it's like it's empowering, the lives, for men and women and youth that will be in the crowd listening. It's going
Absolutely.
to change like their lives and from different angles. With that information they're able to utilize, especially for, in the health aspect. Talking about the foods and I don't know. I'm kind of backtracking, but I was thinking about the mac and cheese you just mentioned. I'm thinking,
yeah. Right.
Maybe I should eat, but I wanted to ask one final question because just seeing the empowerment of women in the panel of very successful women who are movers and shakers in their own way, especially from a young man's perspective like mine, that's motivational, and also it's inspirational for me as well, for me to go harder. Absolutely. So then I could empower a wife one day, and my kids one day, because I'll probably have a good amount of them, but that's besides the point.
I like your forward thinking this. I do.
yeah, I'm focused. But
I love it.
The final question I want to ask you is regarding today's young women. Which however you would define that. When it comes to young women, what values should they embed? Where they currently are. Thinking about the pressures of social media, how they are viewed by society, by other men,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, in order to be empowered, first and foremost, you have to love yourself. You have to have an immense amount of self-love. And that goes as a basis for getting into any kind of relationship. You cannot get into any kind of relationship with anyone until you have a strong sense of self. That's so important. This is how you get centered. This is how you know your worth and your value as a human being, first and foremost, and then as a woman. And so, self-love and self-acceptance and having a high self-esteem and confidence in yourself is very important. Then the next thing I would say is, social media and things like that. So I actually went to NYU and studied media and communication studies, which was a very eye-opening course of learning for me, because it made me realize just how powerful the media is, right? And if you think about all the media consumption that we come into contact every single day, on our phone, on TV, on the radio, like we're, ads as we walk down the street, like we're constantly bombarded with media. And so we need to have a healthy relationship with media, because the media likes to perpetuate certain things and is not always positive. As a matter of fact, I would say it's mostly negative. And, when you see things like these reality TV shows of women and just how they interact with each other, and it's just nasty, and
I agree.
And it's hurtful. Yeah, it's hurtful because, when I think about my reality as a woman and the kind of relationships I have with other women, it is nothing like that. I'm not here pulling anyone's hair. I'm not here like screaming at the top of my lungs at another woman or shaming her or making her feel bad. Like these images that we're bombarded with of women. First of all, we're always overtly sexualized. We're super sexualized. We're hypersexualized all the time. We're used for our bodies. We're not really portrayed in ways that make us look smart or have opportunities to be smart, but we are, and I would say in general we're smart and very capable of what we do, which is in part why I started Women Empowerment Event, because I wanted to show that we're far removed from in social media and reality TV. So I would love for these young girls to know that what they consume their eyes with on social media, on TV, reality shows, whatever, like that is not real life. That is something that's been fabricated and created because unfortunately for some reason is entertainment. I don't see what's so entertaining about women fighting, but it damages the value of women. And in the real world, it definitely affects how others see us, whether it's women, how women view each other, whether it's how men view women, whether it's how, the youth sees women. And so I really, would like to emphasize the importance of filtering your media, try to stay away from these kind of destructive things, because the truth is, media is so powerful that it affects our behavior. It affects certain decisions that we make as people. Even in the purchasing power. This is why commercials are so powerful, because a commercial that you see for 30 seconds could literally impact, what you buy at Staples and what you buy at Target. You know what I mean? Like, and we don't even realize how we're manipulated in this way. But just imagine that with quote-unquote reality TV and how damaging that is and what it does to our young girls, our youth, just everyone in society. And so aside from self-love and loving yourself and recognizing as a young girl that you are a queen is, beyond that, then it's also being very careful about what kind of messages and media you consume. And my next thing would be, to maintain this kind of empowered energy around you all the time, is to also be surrounded by people who want to be great. I like to say that people have greatness in them.
Yeah.
I've heard this phrase a lot. You have greatness in you. And so when you realize that you have greatness in you, you also realize that you have unlimited potential in who you could become. And so that in and of itself is empowering. Every day you're learning how to be a better person. You're working towards your passion and your purpose. Because everyone has purpose. And once they know what that purpose is, they can bring into action in a passionate way.
Yes.
And it's real, and it comes from a healing place.
Right. Just staying surrounded by people who bring the great out of you. And that's
exactly.
Major key. And all your points, they're very valid and very important for where this world is heading into the next, few years, decade, generation. For the kids, it's very important for them to take that in and take heed to that. So with that being said, MeliMel, we have to wrap this interview up, but thank you very much for your energy, your love, your presence, and for your consistency and hard work, and making sure that this 5th annual Women Empowerment event is going down in Harlem. And
absolutely.
Where can all the listeners in the audience, where can they reach out to you, if they have any questions or they want to find out their directions to the 5th annual Women Empowerment event?
Oh, absolutely, yes. You can definitely find me on all major social media platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my handle is at ML Digital Art. And you can also go on my website, which has all information on the 5th annual Women Empowerment event, and also a little bit more about me and my company, and that is mldigitalart.com.
Well, thank you so much, MeliMel. I wish the best for you this weekend, and I'll actually be there taking some pictures. So I'll see you this weekend.
Awesome, this is so great. I love it.
Yes, and this is the 6th element where hip hop and sociology collides. We are about to go into a commercial break,